Good morning, October the 1st here today. Autumn's now setting in with us. We've had a good run with the weather, I've got to be honest, but this morning the sun's shining at the present minute. We've got strong winds and we've had torrential rain right up until about 15 minutes ago. The clouds have passed and the sun's come out, so we're heading into autumn. Autumn's a time where the exhibition growers start thinking about sowing leeks or setting the leeks away, and also onions in the next few weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks away, they'll be setting giant onions away. I've had a few questions, and this is really what today's video is about, just some of the questions that I've had to answer. First of all, Elaine had phoned in. She grows leeks and she was finding it difficult to understand the process of shaving the seed off to get grass, and she's growing autumn mammoth, which is basically an eating winter variety. What we are growing here is mainly exhibition varieties, and we tend not to grow much from seed. We grow mainly from grass. I'll try and explain the process for you, Elaine. Basically, if you're growing autumn mammoth or musselburgh or any of the winter varieties that we use for culinary purpose, you would just let them run to seed as normal. You wouldn't shave off. You may get a little bit grass, but we set the grass away early, and you wouldn't need to do that for the eating onions. So just let your seed heads dry out. I'll show you a head which I haven't shaved because most of mine are shaved. It's producing seed. These will remain on here until they dry out, and then they would be rubbed and then sown as usual. I'll switch the camera around and try and explain the process. Right, here we have a head of seed. They are all pollinated and it's nice full pods, as you can see. They'll just be left on that stem. The stem's still nice and green. It's green all the way down at the bottom. They would just be left on there and left to dry off. They will turn like a straw colour. Once they're at that stage, they would be removed, rubbed out just between the palms of your hands, and they would be sown early spring just for culinary use. Now, I do grow a little bit from seed, where we do look for new varieties of leeks. There's one behind, I don't know if you can see. That's a seedling that I've grown this year, and it's grown from something just like what we see here. So that's the ordinary type. The reason I cut the seed off is to produce grass, and I'll move along and we'll have a look at some grass heads. Right, we're at the other end of the tunnel now, and we're looking here. This is a grass head. It's had all the seed removed. There's a few more here. As you can see, they're looking fairly good. So these are grass heads. These are baby leeks that's on here. I'll move into the greenhouse and show you exactly how we remove them and set them. But these are spare heads that I've got. These will go up. There's a show this weekend at the Gun Inn, if anyone's interested. It's a really good show. People from all over the country come. It's the last show of the year, and a lot of people meet up. It's a single leek and a single onion. It's judged for quality for the leek. It's National Pot Leek Society rules. There is a heavyweight onion, and then there's some onion classes for quality, blanched leeks and intermediates on display. And it's always a good place to meet up and have a bit chat how the season's gone. So they've been completely shaved. These are Cumbrian heads. As I say, these are spare to me, so I will take them up to the Gun Inn, and we'll see if anybody is looking for leeks. I'll have these heads to spare. I've still got quite a few heads. These ones are king pods. So this is basically a plant that's produced, and then it's produced 2 king pods on the bottom. As we can see, that's these ones. These grow up and produce, these have been shaved as well, but they produce much larger grass. They just don't produce as much grass as we see on the first heads. But these will make superb plants, and this is actually what I'd probably set and grow off for myself. As you can see, the grass is much stronger and it gets away to a flying start. So that's the grass, that's the seed. I don't think I have any with pips here, but I have inside the greenhouse. So again, I'm going to put you on hold. We'll go into the greenhouse and we'll have a little look in there. Right, we're inside the bottom greenhouse now, and if we look here, these are little pips that's coming off. Some of them are very small. I don't know if you can see that for the sunshine. They are the little pips, and they will also produce plants. We can just get one up here. So they are pips which are produced, and if we look, you can see they are very small. They've just been set here. So that's the pips in a tray. This is grass that was just been set. All my grass I cut down nice and short, and you can see this has just been done. They haven't got a hold or anything yet. They've just been planted. They're lying sideways, but it won't take long, and they will start to stand up. There's some pips that were set about 4 or 5 days ago, and you can see they're starting to produce tiny little shoots. And on this side we've got some grass. They were set well, certainly no more than 10 days ago, and they're flying away. We have had good weather conditions. We've had plenty of sunshine. These are just an ordinary multi-purpose compost which I've riddled, and as we can see the roots are popping through there very nicely, so it doesn't take long. There's no heat on in here at the present moment, no underground heating, you know, on the heat benches or anything like that. That's the way they will grow. So as you can see, they're coming away nicely. So that's the pips. This is small grass which is difficult to, you know, get in, clean up and grow on, but as you can see it's small. As 2 plants there, they'll be separated and planted up. And this is one head of Cumbrian where we get hundreds of. These are much better, and as you can see there's roots actually coming away. The Cumbrian tends to do this. I hope you can see that properly, but the roots do come if you steep them in. I use Rovril. Some people use Domestos. If you use Domestos, I did use Domestos, and I used to put 10 mils of Domestos into a gallon of water, and the heads were set in that. That actual head is here. They've been cut right back because it was a really big head, and I have removed all that grass that you see, but you can see they are in a mix of Rovril. So they'll go back under the bench until they are ready. So that's basically the process. Other questions I've had were about onions. Marie phoned up. She was wanting onion seed, and she said, is it okay to set it away in a polytunnel in October? She was looking for giant onions. To be honest, I wouldn't advise that. Basically the cold would probably send them to seed at the turn of the year. So really you do need heating on if you're going to set onions over the winter. At least you need to be able to keep frost free. Turn the camera around here. So we need to be keeping frost free. So the time to set onions, a lot of people say, when should I set my onions? The type of seed that I use, which is the main one I use, is Billy Lamb's. That's the one that I grow. It will do both for quality and for giant. It has shown 15-16 pound onions. It grows to 30 inches around. If you're looking for giants, I would recommend that you start sowing onion seed probably towards the end of October. People ask about grow lights. I will cover grow lights later on when I start using them. For giant onions, I would recommend you probably do need lights. Now, in the past, all I've ever done is given all my plants 7 days light, continuous. They only get 7 days and then they're never put back onto lights. But for the exhibition lads who are wanting to grow really big onions, most lads are saying that they put 10 to 12 weeks, 24 hours light. My lights are too intense for that. I will never give 24 hours on a constant basis. What I would do is probably put 12 hours daylight, and I would probably give them that maybe for 6 to 8 weeks. The trouble is you've got to be able to handle these plants, because they will really make big plants, and you've got to have plenty of space in your greenhouse if you're doing so. So you've also got to not just think about pushing your plants big, you've got to think how can you handle them, how can you stop the flutes from breaking before they're planted out. So there's a fair bit to look at, but I am going to sow a few for large onions this year, so we'll follow those through. The quality onions, exactly the same seed, and I wouldn't sow that until late December. I've actually sown some through into February before and still had 22-inch bulbs, really nice quality. So there's still plenty of time, but we do need a little bit of heating, and I do put bottom heat on as well for the onions. I'm also asked about pips. Now, if you remember going back a week or two, I did shave some heads, and I've been unfortunate. I haven't got much pip off at all. I'd like to thank both Chris and Mark for sending some pips up to me. Now I'll show you what the pips are. This is an onion head of pips. These are really large ones, and these are the pips that come off. And as you can see, it's like a small onion to start with. I've never had great success with pips. Some people really do. I mean, Peter Holden, he shows a lot of pips and he wins all over with them. Other people have good success, but I have a lot of people who say they can't really grow pips. They either stop growing halfway through the season or they run to seed. So we'll do a little experiment with these this year. I'm looking forward to growing them. I've got 2 heads from, as I say, one from Chris and one from Mark. I will give them a try and we'll monitor them through the season and we'll see how we perform with them. So it's something that we can follow through. Other ones about setting leeks. What time do we set them? Well, basically, we'll tell you when it needs to be set anyway. Leek heads are quite funny. If you try and hold on to them too long and the weather gets to them, you see they die off rapidly. I've actually just lost a head of virus free through trying to keep it an extra week or two. Yes, I have still got some, but that particular head got damp into it and it rotted off from the base, so that was no good. So if the heads are ready and the grass is starting to drop off, you will need to set them. If you set them early, don't give them any grow lights, let them grow naturally, and slow them down through the winter and you should still be okay. That's it. It's just a short one really, just to bring you up to date with the onions and the leeks. We are like full swing setting leeks now. Onions probably about 3 weeks time before I put the first batch in for heavyweights. If you have any questions, fire them through and we'll answer them on the next video. Thanks very much now. Bye bye.